We're on. Good morning. And good morning, Thailand. Sorry about a slight delay. We had a little bit of a hiccup at the start. We knew we'd have some sort of hiccup coming to you live from Cafe Waya in Boat Avenue Phuket. Good morning to Bill Barnett from C9 Hotel Works.
Hi, Tim. We've had a horrible wardrobe mishap today, right? How did that happen? Nobody got the memo. Okay, but it's great to be here from Cafe Waya, and we've got our coffee, and we're ready to go.
So we're here to do a few things today. Apart from crossing over to Bangkok in just a moment, we're going to be talking a lot about the fact that Phuket is open as part of the start or the restart of Thai tourism. Obviously, it's a crucial day. It was a very important day because as I was driving here this morning, I got caught in a convoy.
The Prime Minister?
Well, I don't know if it was the Prime Minister, but it was somebody important because it was a very imposing looking black passenger van with a police escort in front, a number of motorcycles, and then some 20 white passenger vans following up behind.
So you didn't just jump in behind, did you?
I jumped into the middle of it. I was about van number 10. And the guy behind me was flashing his lights, but they were doing 120k along Tepkasatri Road, so I thought this is a quick way to get to work. Anyway, let's cross all the way from here in Phuket, and we, of course, say hello to all our viewers. We've got Alex, M. Manta, we've got Bipolar Punt, CKR. Why can't you get normal names? Mark, good morning to you all. And up in Bangkok, we'd like to say good morning to Honey and Chris Fu from Daniel Thaiger. They're sort of operators and owners. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Great to be here. Good morning.
So,
Thank
Honey,
you for having us.
Can you tell us where did the name? The funny thing, of course, is we share the same name of
Tiger, right?
Tiger.
Tiger.
So we've got Tiger on the Tiger, and it's the same spelling, Thaiger. Where did you come up with the name?
Well, originally this name is kind of name and rhyme with the son, because all of my son middle name is Thai, Thai.
Okay.
And we started burger truck, so it's kind of like Thailand Thai burger.
Thai burger. Okay.
So we just combined it together.
So Daniel Thaiger isn't actually a person. Daniel's the name of your son. And so we ended up with Daniel Thaiger. Fantastic.
So who's the guy on the sign? On Chris there.
Yeah, who's behind you, Chris?
The logo. Who is
that person?
That's actually Honey and Mark's first son, named Daniel, basically.
Daniel.
Although he does look like a lot of different people.
It's like a composite, one of those crime scene composites, right?
Yeah. Sort of looks like the Asia
It's quite funny
typecast.
because everyone that comes in, if there's a foreigner around or someone around, everyone expects that person to be called Daniel. So everyone's like, "Hi, Daniel."
So Daniel Thaiger burgers, for people that don't know, these are sort of bespoke hamburgers that have been very popular. And I've had the opportunity to have them once, and they are amazing burgers. I suppose the question is, Chris, why are hamburgers such a thing in Bangkok? I mean, I would have thought people come from around the world for the amazing Thai food, but people in Bangkok have got this thing about hamburgers.
Well, I'll let Honey answer that question because she originally came back from California, and when she was coming back on her yearly trips, she was having a problem finding a great burger, right, Honey?
Yes. So we always travel back to visit our family. So I was living there for almost 9 years. And every time we come back, we just kind of wonder where is the good burger at in Thailand. And we always get a great burger in America. And back then, maybe around 2011 and 12, the food truck scene in LA was the start. And we were so crazy about it. We'll follow it on Twitter, all the social media, Facebook, to find a food truck. And when we decided to move back to Thailand, we thought it would be a good idea to have a good burger and start a food truck here. Then there was not really anyone there.
Maybe a question over for Chris. Chris, what a time to be in the restaurant business. I mean, this week, of course, restaurants shutting down. You guys have actually been reopening restaurants at this time as well. What's the thought behind that?
Yeah, it's not the best time for restaurants. And, my heart goes out to all the restaurant owners and restaurateurs out there because it's fourth lockdown now. and there's no dine-in again, which means, it's all delivery. And if your business hasn't been on delivery for a while now, and you're trying to get on it now, it takes a long time to build up some kind of algorithm so that you can actually start getting business through deliveries. And once you do go through deliveries, you also get hit with different commissions from different food delivery platforms. So whereas most of your business before might have been dine-in, 90%, now 90% of your business is delivery and taking a hit on commissions. Plus, because of less people around, prices are going up from suppliers, because our orders are getting smaller. So it's very, very hard times for the restaurant industry right now.
So just to explain for people that may not know, the problem in Bangkok at the moment, all restaurants must close by 9 p.m. and people cannot actually go to the restaurants at the moment. That's right?
No dining in, right?
No dine-in.
So you can take away, or you can get delivery, basically.
So maybe a question for Honey. How are you keeping your Thai staff working during this time? I mean, unemployment's huge right now. We've seen what's happening in, some of the population areas. There's a lot of stress on employment. Well, what's your way forward to keep staff working in the restaurant business?
We tend to not really have that problem. We have our staff with us in the food truck, over half of the staff, and we just try to keep a good environment and make sure they care for, feel supported by us, and just keep our job fun.
Luckily for us, we've been in the delivery business for the last 5 years as cloud kitchens as well. Mm-hmm. So we've actually we have a good presence on all the delivery platforms. So we do quite okay, and that's allowed us to maintain our staff at full salary during the whole COVID situation.
I know, Chris, there's a lot of anger out there with restaurants about Food Panda, Grab taking too large commissions. How are you guys taking that? You've got to do deliveries, but what's the easiest way to, should the margins be what exactly in food delivery?
It's very hard, because of course there's going to be a lot of people complaining about this, and it's quite a big commission. It's a chunky commission, but maybe they're not doing so many orders per day. The problem is if you're coming into the food delivery platform now, before there might have been 10,000 restaurants online. Now there's 100,000.
Right.
So the ocean has got a lot bigger, and it's harder for people to see your restaurant now because you're amongst 100,000 different places and options.
Yeah, a lot of fish in the ocean out there.
So there's a lot of fish in the option.
What's the plans for Daniel Thaiger Burgers? Are you going to expand and be a huge franchise and open up around the country, around the world?
Yes. So first of all, go in the next year, you'll probably see a lot more Daniel Thaigers pop up around Bangkok first, and then hopefully to the outer regions. And past that, yes, we do actually look at going regional with Daniel Thaiger in the near future.
I have a question for Honey. How has your life changed during COVID? I know being a restaurateur and things, and also being in Bangkok. How are you getting around? Are you going outside or doing other things?
Well, actually, I make a good choice by having the house not too far from my work, so I can walk to work. And I'm mostly home and work from computer, my phone. And the kids are online studying, so I try to be around as much as possible and be pretty much home like this time. This time is harder than the past 3. So.
Right, just hold it there, everybody. We're going to have a quick break. I know one of the headlines in our Thai headlines, which are coming up, is about the food and restaurant industry, so I'll put that to you in just a moment. But for now, we're coming to you from Cafe Waya. We are the Thaiger, talking to the Thaiger, Daniel Thaiger Hamburgers in Bangkok, and we'll be back right after this. Back on Good Morning Thailand. Thank you very much for joining us from Cafe Waya in Boat Avenue. I've got Bill Barnett here from C9 Hotel Works, and all the way up there in Bangkok we've got Chris and Honey from Daniel Thaiger. We just noticed in the headlines that some restaurateurs are saying, well, they didn't say damn it actually started with F, but they've just they've just got a bit, they've had it. But they're saying, no, we're just going to open up. If they want to arrest us, let them arrest us. We'll post the arrest on Facebook. You arrest on Facebook, everybody will look stupid. I mean, I think people have had enough. What do you think, Chris?
Oh, they've definitely had enough. Basically, this is the 4th lockdown, and we're playing with people's livelihoods now. Just for, the strongest already would have got to us to this point now. And now even the strongest in the industry, I mean, the really, really good players are having to really close down. So that says a lot,
What would happen if everybody said, we're just going to open up? If every restaurant in Thailand suddenly opened up, there's not much the government could do about it.
No, probably. Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, we're not sure yet.
They'd be busy.
They'd be very busy, and I've seen on many places are not really closing down because it's their livelihoods and they can't afford to, But we also, if you are going to do that, you would still have to have some kind of safety measures in place that you're really not responsible for spreading anymore.
Another Daniel says here, love the burgers from you guys. Never had a bad burger. So some of our responders have had some of your great burgers. We'll say goodbye to you at this stage. Thank you very much for joining us on the Thaiger.
And I think one thing we should encourage anybody out there: use restaurants, keep these guys afloat.
Yeah.
Part of the complexities of Bangkok, one of the greatest things is the
support
food.
Your local restaurant.
Exactly, go local, guys.
Yes.
Look forward to actually getting back to Bangkok and trying one of your burgers. Honey, thank you. Chris, thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you soon. All the way there from Bangkok.
See you guys. Thanks.
Bye.
On Good Morning Thailand. Let's go through some of the facts that we're sort of facing as we do reopen. And I'm sad to report that over the past 24 hours there's been another 57 deaths and a record 5,533. I've got noises coming through my headphones. 500.
I think Tim's hearing voices in his head, maybe. I don't know.
Cases. Only 44 of those are from prisons. So we've got a situation where Phuket is trying to reopen as a start of a blueprint for the reopening of Thai tourism. But we've got these rising numbers, principally around Bangkok and the surrounding suburbs. Sure. And directly to the east, Chachong Sao and Chonburi, including Pattaya and Ranong. Then we've also got the very south of Thailand, the deep south. So it's not a good situation.
And I think the stigma now, sitting in Phuket, we're seeing people actually come in for the Sandbox. Well, people, when they say I'm from Bangkok, people go, ooh. It's like, yeah, there's a stigma attached by coming from Bangkok right now.
But here we are in a situation where now clearly what it's all about is trying to manage the situation. Get people coming back in some sort of safe manner and then managing them whilst they're here, making sure they have a good time within the guidelines and the restrictions that we need to try and stop a complete outbreak.
But Tim, there are mounting concerns about the 4th wave.
The 4th wave. This I found a little bit distressing when I read this morning. This was from the Bangkok Post. And it said that the CCSA is calling on eateries and restaurants to not defy restrictions on dining in, as it admitted that a 4th wave of infections may soon sweep through the country. And they claimed a 4th wave is imminent because of the Delta variant. So that's an ominous warning there from the CCSA, openly admitting that another wave is probably upon us. So how do we manage that? We don't close everything down. We somehow have to manage it, change people's behaviours to make sure.
Singapore's been talking about this as well. How well are we vaccinated in Phuket right now, Tim?
Well, this is another interesting thing. Of course, the idea was from the Phuket officials that 70% of Phuketians would be vaccinated, fully vaccinated, before they could reopen. Well, they didn't quite reach the amount of 70%. In fact, the official number is 65%, some 303,000 people. Registered is 430,000 people. 83% of Phuketians, the people registered, have now had at least one vaccine. But I'm pretty sure we could say that all the people that you are going to confront if you are coming here to Phuket in the hospitality and the tourism industry would surely have been vaccinated. And that's part of what the SHA accreditation is about.
SHA plus.
SHA plus. So this whole vaccination in Phuket, they didn't quite reach the 70% fully vaccinated, but gee, they came pretty close, and that of course will be continuing even as Phuket opens. So congratulations to all the health workers, to all the hospitals who put together a pretty amazing rollout over really about 2 months.
It was amazing, really effort, especially Boom Kitty with the PTA as well, and the private and public sector. And I've been here during the tsunami, during the Asian financial crisis. Seeing these guys work together has been pretty amazing. But today we're going to have the Prime Minister here. There's a lot of questions about how many people are arriving, Tim.
Well, we published some numbers yesterday. We've got some people who've been able to dig into some travel agency databases, also Thai Airways, and it's about some 340 people, it appears, arriving today. It's not the 1,500 that the TAT touted last week, but it's not bad, and at least it is a start. Now, some of these people are actually Thais. Apparently 30 or 40% of the arrivals are Thais, so they're coming perhaps for different reasons than maybe tourism. But it is not only a way for tourists to come back to Phuket and Thailand, but it's also a way for other people to come back to the country who may have not been able to get here over the past year. So for whatever reason they're coming, they're going to have to spend money in hotels, they'll be spending money at restaurants. So it is a start. It's a slow start, it's a bit of a bumpy start, but it is a start.
I know we're having a lot of questions about the COE process, and I spoke to 2 people yesterday who were able to obtain COEs in 24 hours. So we are seeing the COEs move ahead. So it means not only are people going to be arriving today, but there is progress moving forward. I think that's important.
I think I could probably share with you some 100 or so messages we got on our various social media streams over the past week of people who haven't been able to get COEs for various reasons, but we understand that the embassies are now trying to process them as expeditely as they possibly can. So that process is happening, but we would advise people, if you do want to travel to Thailand at the moment via Phuket, then you need to make sure that you contact your embassy. Don't book anything until you've contacted your embassy. Find out about your returning from Thailand, what that situation is in your country as well. And as we know, some countries are considered high risk at the moment, and for now you won't be able to travel to Thailand. But we've got all that information at thetiger.com, where I think just about every second article's been about the Sandbox over the past couple of weeks. But you want the information, we're doing our best to provide it for you.
We've seen the Bangkok Post today. Bangkok Post can have an extraordinary attitude about perhaps the failure of the Sandbox already, Tim.
Yeah, well, we've taken a pretty tough line against the TAT and their nonsense promotions over the past couple of months. The figures that they've been just inventing out of fresh air have given people really a sense of hope. And there are people who are legitimately opening up their stores, opening up their restaurants. They want this to work, but they may be living in some sort of false hope if only 300 people are coming on the first day. But we do have hundreds coming over the next few days. We can check on the seating in all the arrival aircraft, so we do know who is coming, and we'll try and keep you up to date with the actual facts and the numbers. The Bangkok Post went pretty hard today on the Sandbox, saying that regulatory chaos spoils Phuket's reopening.
But I'm not sure it's spoiled because, again, over 300 people are arriving today. So is that spoiling?
Well, again, we want to know where those people are coming from. We don't really actually know if they're all tourists. I think the TAT have also spent quite a bit of money on influencers. I noticed Mark Wiens, the foodie, who's a very popular vlogger, has been doing some promotion for the TAT. Other people will be brought here to send some good messages back, some nice photos. Bill, you were on the beaches yesterday. How many beaches did you visit?
10 beaches, actually. 4.5 hours I went from Mai Khao in the north to Nai Han in the south. And actually the busiest beach was Nai Han in the south.
It has been very busy. I've noticed a lot of people posting photos. And we can honestly say that the beaches have never looked better. As we look out today, we've got some blue sky. There'll probably be a chance of rain a little bit later in the day because it is the wet season. But yeah, Phuket's looking great, and there will be shops open, there will be restaurants open. It won't be the Phuket you remember, but of course, once you've done the 14 days here, you can head off to other parts of the country.
Is it time for an ad, Tim?
Time for an ad. I'm just going to see, seems Tim won't be streaking backwards today. Yes, I made a claim
exactly.
last week. I said if the 1,500 people arrive today, I'll march naked backwards down Bangla Road. I'm glad to say that you won't have that enforced upon you, so you can put your cameras away. But we will take a break and be back with more Good Morning Thailand right after this.
Want to keep up to date with what's happening in Thailand? Download the Thaiger app. It works on both Android and Apple. And it's free. All the latest news, videos, and information at one click from your phone. Go to your Play Store or App Store and download now.
Back on Good Morning Thailand. Want to share a laptop, Bill?
Yeah, sure.
There you go. So you can scroll up and down there.
Sure.
War of laptops here. We are at Cafe Waya in Boat Avenue in Chiang Thilai in Phuket, and we're going to be here actually for the next 5 days as we, I suppose, commemorate the restart of Thailand's tourism. I think it was on the 22nd of April last year that they closed down the airport.
It was about that time.
Yeah, maybe it was some time in the...
I mean, travel really wound down in the middle of March. That's when things started slowing down. So
yeah.
That was the beginning of the end.
It was by the end of April, maybe it was the end of March. I really can't remember. It's so long ago now. But they just closed the airport. And the Phuket International Airport hasn't really been used. The lights haven't been on since that time. So this is the first time that the airport will be open. I suppose the duty-free shops will be open. Oh, no, they're arriving. They're not departing.
Sure.
Let's go through some comments. What have we got?
Oh, maybe a shout out to my friend here, Grammar of St. Kupke, Bill the Beach Whale. Absolutely, please save the whales and Free Willy. Great comment. Keep them coming, as we said. Dirty Old Matt, the U.S. has ordered the vaccine and promised payment before they had even been tested to get production started, right? You know, is this turned out to be a good thing? Yeah? Interesting question. You know, certainly in terms of the vaccines, and certainly there's still a process here, Tim, where people are complaining about the slowness of the vaccines, and was the Thai government fast enough in ordering enough vaccine?
Tim, I'm certain you said many months ago that you'd do the naked thing down Soy Cowboy if the Sandbox went ahead today. No, what I actually said that time was there was a prediction that there was going to be 10 million tourists in Thailand this year, and I made the same promise that I'd march naked backwards in a stooped position down Soy Cowboy if that happened. So we'll have to wait to the end of the year for that one. We didn't even know about the Sandbox at that time when I made that promise.
We've had a lot of questions about Thais and foreigners sharing hotel rooms here in Phuket during the Sandbox as well.
Oh, yeah.
This has been a big one. You know, this continues to come in. As of right now, what is it, Tim? What's the answer?
We don't know.
Exactly.
The funny thing is that you are told that you are not allowed to have unmarried visitors, is that a polite way of saying it, at your hotel to stay overnight. And we don't know if you have to stay in your hotel overnight for an hour or for 8 hours. Apparently the hotels are going to be checking to make sure people are in every night. It's a bit like school camp, but we don't know about the specific rules. I think you're going to have to play that by ear. Of course, if you want to, you can go out and play around all day, but just don't bring it back to your hotel. I think that's the reasoning.
There's another question in from Hen Stan, and this covers insurance. What insurance company insures you if you test positive on one of your 3 tests?
I don't know. I suppose read the fine print. The whole idea of having COVID insurance, I think, is mainly to cover your hospital costs if you are dragged off to a hospital during your
and actually
recuperation.
the treatment costs if you would be on a ventilator and extended care.
Yeah, mind you, very rare that is going to happen, but if it does, that the insurance would cover those costs.
I think one of the biggest things people are asking also, what if you do come and you do test positive for COVID when you're here?
Well, you are going to be taken to a hospital and you're going to be given very good treatment, and you'll have to stay there until they decide that you are not going to be passing it on to other people. So, I mean, this is a chance, but you are having a PCR test before you come. You have a PCR test when you arrive. So they're obviously trying to make sure that you're arriving. Of course, you are already vaccinated. So they're doing their best to try and make sure that that won't happen when you come. But they have to take precautions, of course.
What about you? You know, Tim, you had a vaccination the other day as well, which is quite a story in itself, I guess. But would you want to travel abroad and try to come back?
Well, not abroad, but I have a full intention of travelling back to Bangkok, to our Bangkok office in the next few weeks. And as I've had one AstraZeneca dose, under the current Thai laws, I'll be able to return back to Phuket within 14 days of having had that vaccine. So I'll be coming back. I'll probably go up to Bangkok next week, and by the time I return, it would have been 14 days. So I should be able to just walk through the airport, I hope, without a test.
I think something we want to start looking forward to will be the 15th reopening of Koh Samui as well, with a sealed route. That's going to be the next one where we're going to start seeing travelers come through Bangkok through to Samui, right?
Yeah, interesting. People have been asking us, can they travel through Bangkok airport to travel to Phuket? And that wasn't clarified in the announcement of the Phuket Sandbox. So I don't believe that there is any sealed route, if you like, or dedicated terminal at the Bangkok airport for people arriving in Bangkok. If you arrive in Bangkok at the moment, you're going to have to do 14 days quarantine. So I don't know how that's going to work. It might be something that is cleared up in the next few days if people start coming, and of course arriving in Bangkok is a lot more convenient for a lot of people and a lot of airlines.
What do you think the mood is with the Prime Minister coming today? I know he's been under a lot of fire in Bangkok, and maybe this is actually a good getaway from him down to Phuket as well. Are people eager to see him down here?
Well, I think the Prime Minister, Uncle Two as they call him, is going to be part of a big show today, and we're going to see some happy snaps and some photo opportunities in all media. There's going to be leis put over people's head, there's going to be gifts given, there's going to be photo opportunities, there's going to be everybody wearing masks. We won't be able to see them smiling, but I think people will be pretty happy just to get that airport functioning again and get the start of some sort of tourism. But it is a show, and we probably need to dig into the numbers and where these people are coming from to understand the true picture of what is happening with these early arrivals. But yep, the Prime Minister will probably fly in, do the photo opportunities. He won't be shaking hands, but he'll be wowing a lot of people, and then he'll head back to Bangkok to try and sort out the mess that is consuming the city there at the moment.
Exactly. And a question from DT, are the college campuses closed now?
I don't know.
I mean, schools in general have been opened.
Schools have been reopened. There are sort of some closures from time to time. There might be a case and they close down for a few days, give the school a deep clean. I don't know if the university campuses are open or not. Somebody might be able to fill us in with that information.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry about the redness earlier. That was my big day at the beach, so certainly I'm a bit red today as well. Tim, I keep looking at this painting behind us. What's the story?
Well, now, we're going to have somebody coming in on Monday's program who knows all about this painting, but apparently it's quite famous. Can we pan up or show the painting? Does it come on that camera? Can you sort of see it? I don't know the full story of this particular painting, but apparently it is quite famous. And we're going to find out all about it on Monday's program, because we're here at Cafe Waya until next Wednesday.
Why live, Tim? I mean, usually it's been going about 4 weeks already. Everything is working well in the studio. What's the change?
Well, we just thought we'd come here. We thought we might get a free breakfast or a free coffee. Hasn't happened yet, but
exactly.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Let's get to some more questions.
Okay, here we have some other questions a lot of questions coming in about insurance as well, in terms of getting this insurance. I think, are we going to have an insurance segment coming up, Tim?
Yeah, we should talk about insurance generally around Thailand, because it is an ongoing issue for expats, especially health insurance, and especially when you get to the age of 70 or 75, insurance can be a bit of an issue, and that is looming for people like us, Bill. Over the next decade or so, we're going to have to figure out how we're going to insure ourselves health-wise if we want to remain in Thailand. I figure over the next 10 years they'll sort something out to make it a bit easier for us. Also, if people do want to return to Thailand at the moment, the Thaiger has got a partner who is offering a product. So if you go to thethaiger.com, you'll see at the top of the website a certificate of entry and insurance for returning to Thailand. Click on that, and that may be of assistance to you.
And a question from Trevor Butler. When does a 120-day countdown start to the rest of Thailand's reopening?
Well, the Prime Minister said he wants Thailand to be reopened in 120 days.
Mid-October.
When he said it, it made it mid-October. So looks like mid-October is the deadline. But just try and sort of read through the code of that statement. think what he's saying is that he would like a lot of Thailand reopened by then. I don't think all of Thailand will be. There will be some clusters, there will be some provinces that are having problems, but certainly the tourist provinces, they're going to rush the vaccination in those areas and try and get the tourist-reliant provinces and areas of Thailand open as soon as they can.
Here's one in from a actually pretty catchy title, Lawyers, Guns and Money. Singapore Airlines is flying direct to Phuket. What other airlines are coming in today, Tim?
It's a question without notice. I don't know.
Okay. I know we've got Emirates coming in as well.
We published yes, two of the Middle Eastern airlines. I think there was like 200 returning Thais from Abu Dhabi today. We know that they're arriving today as part of the arrivals. I'm not sure why they're returning, but I think it's nothing to do with the Sandbox as such. So it's good to see the Middle Eastern airlines coming. And for Americans, for example, and I know there are a lot of Americans watching the program, traditionally you've flown through like Korea or China or Hong Kong to get to Bangkok or Thailand. At the moment, it's probably easier, knowing that the airlines that are booked, that you come the other way around the world and come through the Middle East, through Doha, Abu Dhabi or Bahrain. So I think that's another option for you if you do want to fly to Thailand at the moment.
And earlier in the week, I had an interesting segment in from Pattaya talking about going to the mayor's office, presenting petitions as well. Have you got much feedback about that?
Well, apparently only 7 people turned up, and it wasn't a huge turnout. A difficulty, I suppose, for all these bar owners is everybody's trying to do the right thing, and they do want to try and reduce the opportunities for COVID to have another cluster. Another bad cluster in a place like Pattaya would just be a huge problem and push back any reopening of that city even further back. It's a difficult one, but we've now got this situation where there's a bit of a rebel group of restaurants sort of based in Bangkok, but I'm sure other parts of the country as well, who are trying just to say, hang it, we're just going to open. But that wouldn't be pretty.
Here's a note in for Tim from Raymond Harrison. How about the vaccine side effects? Did you get any?
No. It was all a bit surreal for me, and I've got a story I will relate about what happened up at the airport vaccination the other day. Some child, they're not very happy with our presentation, Bill.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a question in from Mike.
Hey, I didn't finish.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
So when it actually came to being vaccinated...
Are you crying in the background?
It was not me crying. It all happened. I went, it all happened before I even knew it. So the actual injection didn't hurt. I had 0 side effects, apart from obviously wearing white shirts and stuttering a bit.
Okay. From Mike, can you comment on Corona and Kata? They look pretty devastated. It's going to take years to recover. I mean, one thing, Mike, we know is during certain times of the year, Kata Corona is a little barren anyway. Certainly, those are favorite beaches for Scandinavians, for Europeans. They love the beach. When I was down there yesterday, Katanoi was beautiful, but yeah, there were a few people on the beach. Generally, as I walked through all the beaches of Phuket, they were pretty empty yesterday. So again, it's a great time to come, but they are empty right now. So no rose-colored glasses on that, right?
People are furiously checking for us, saying Qatar is coming, Singapore Airlines is coming.
Emirates is coming?
Yeah.
Thai Airways is coming?
A question, can you fly to Bangkok, then catch another flight from Bangkok to Phuket? At the moment, I don't think you can.
They're still working on the sealed routes, and that's something which is, again, with the COEs only starting to be approved now, this process is going to start going through Bangkok as well, because that would be a primary entry point. But right now, it's direct flights, which are working.
So, baby steps.
Yeah.
This is the first step. It's not just a grand, huge reopening. This is the first step of a long process, and the success of this is vital. And what we learn in the next few weeks of what happens here in Phuket will be used to roll out the reopening around Thailand. So, important day.
Yeah, certainly there's a lot of questions about how much a PCR test is costing. I know down the street in Laguna Phuket, Canal Village, they've opened a PCR testing facility. It's 2,800 baht per test. So again, that's the cost which we're seeing in the market right now.
Eternal Sunshine says, hi Tim and Bill, question, as unvaccinated, does changing a flight in Bangkok airport put you at risk of getting quarantined at a provincial destination? Well, at the moment, if you arrive in Bangkok...
It'd be a sealed route.
You'll have to do a quarantine at the moment. but I'm pretty sure in the next couple of weeks they're going to have some sort of dedicated terminal to do a transit.
It's going to be similar to what they're going to do with Samui with the sealed route as well. So they'll come to Samui, there'll be the highest safety process of that, and then you'll go on to Samui. But yes, everything's a risk right now, basically. If you're traveling, we have to understand that. But again, if you've been vaccinated, you've done as much as you can. So should you stay at home or should you travel? I'd travel.
D. Esberg says, hang with your partner during the day. Well, these are the people who are...
You can do anything you want during the day.
Do whatever you
do
like
anything you
during
want
the
at night,
day.
but sleep in your hotel.
Yes, just don't bring them back to the hotel. I think that's the guidelines that they've set. Fly to Phuket better without going via Bangkok. Well, at the moment, it's the only way you'll be able to get to Phuket under the Sandbox. Hairy Thai Burger. I have no idea what they're talking about. We should pre-read these before we read them out. Perth, Darwin, Brisbane and Sydney all in lockdown at present. The D strain here has got hold. Thank you, Scott, for sharing that information with us.
I think it's pretty serious in Australia right now. And in terms of vaccinations, there's a long way to go to open Australia, Tim.
Yeah, Australia certainly has, and New Zealand have had a pretty good run with a minimum of cases compared to other countries in the world. But there now seems to be a strain spreading around Australia, and yeah, we've got these cities closing down. Poor old Melbourne has had a very bad run over the past year with different flare-ups and clusters, but at the moment they're not sharing this lockdown.
And a good question from Amit Pasi. Quick question: can expats living in Bangkok or work permit travel to Phuket for tourism?
Yes.
Vaccinated travelers can come.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, expats, people who are living here in Thailand, can travel to Phuket. You'll either have to have a PCR test when you arrive, you actually have it before you arrive, within 7 days, or if you're fully vaccinated with the Sinovac vaccine, or if you've had one AstraZeneca dose, then within 14 days, well, after 14 days, you'll be able to travel to Phuket. And that's the method by which I hope I'll be able to return to my Bangkok Phuket travels.
Interesting. What's going to be on tomorrow on the Thaiger, Tim?
Interesting one. We've got a professor of cultural studies, and if you live in Thailand long enough, there are some interesting little cultural niceties and differences that can either annoy us or fascinate us. And we're going to be speaking to Arjan Colin tomorrow about some of these cultural differences. We'll pick a topic and we'll get him back every couple of weeks because my conversations with him have been very interesting about these little quirky differences and trying to explain them. About
Same but different.
if you go to a wedding, what sort of gifts are you meant to take with you? What's the situation at funerals? So all sorts of things.
So life in Thailand.
Life in Thailand. So he'll be our guest tomorrow, Arjan Colin. But we will be here at Cafe Waya, and you can drop in and just say hello to us, throw things at Bill.
Thanks, Tim.
Enjoy a coffee. They've also got really good breakfasts here at Cafe Waya as well. One more. Wear a mask when you boom boom. Why didn't I pre-read that? Is there a curfew?
I think there's a whole site set up on Pornhub for that now with the mask porn. So.
Is there a curfew for the Sandbox? No, there's no curfew in Phuket at the moment.
And you're allowed to drink alcohol in restaurants.
Yes. So that's about all from us. We've run way over time today. Sorry for a little bit of a glitch at the start, but thank you to Jay and Jason for pressing the buttons. Thank you for watching and sending us lots and lots of messages. A quick one from Nicholas. Question: can my wife come down from Isan and join me in the hotel? No.
No.
That's what we understand at the moment. So sorry we can't give you some good news on that one. But from all of us at The Thaiger, the media company, not the hamburger company, we think
Thaiger.
We thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Sandbox rules. Thank you, Thailand.